Arne Slot admits he took Florian Wirtz's risk at West Ham after advice from Liverpool staff. Arne Slot confessed he disregarded the counsel of his performance team concerning Florian Wirtz as the Liverpool playmaker excelled in a 2-0 triumph over West Ham United. The Germany international had been absent from the previous 2 fixtures due to injury after returning from the international break carrying a problem. However, he was reinstated to the starting 11 at the London Stadium as strikes from Alexander Isak and Cody Gakpo secured a crucial triumph for the Premier League champions. Wirtz arguably delivered his finest showing in the Premier League to date following his transfer from Bayer Leverkusen during the summer, operating in an attacking midfield position with Dominik Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Alexis Mac Allister providing support in the middle of the park. Slot was hesitant to lavish excessive praise upon the number 7 but expressed satisfaction with his contributions, disclosing he chose to ignore the recommendations of his fitness coaches, who believed a substitution was required before the eventual 75th minute change for Curtis Jones. "The team played a very good game," the Liverpool head coach said. "Recently I've been asked a lot about individuals when maybe they've played a game not of their usual standards, and I've pointed out the team every single time. After a very positive performance from Florian, I can acknowledge that, but I also want to emphasize the team performance was much better. We tried to create an extra midfielder, and he was very important for us to find that extra midfielder every time. He was good when he made a dribble, he was good with his one-touch passes, he played one ball to Cody, which then doesn't lead to a shot, but we had many of those moments, and he was part of many of them. Performance staff were constantly telling me he needs to go out because he'd be out for 1.5 weeks and had only trained once, so to a certain extent it was maybe a bit of a risk to keep him in the team, but some situations ask for an exception, and today was one of them." The Reds opened the scoring when Isak coolly slotted home his maiden league strike for Liverpool following his switch from Newcastle United on transfer deadline day. Slot commented, "That is also a bit unfair to him, to say the goal was a relief. Normally, as a number 9 in general, he plays more minutes than I have played Alex now because of the obvious reasons. Even today, I had to take him off after 68 minutes. He has played a lot of games, but in terms of minutes, not so much. It's very important for us as a team that we went 1-0 and important for him because it was his 3rd chance of this game and I don't think there was much more than 10 minutes left in him. To score just before you come off is important for us and him." Virgil van Dijk lauds outstanding teammate and makes normal claim about Florian Wirtz. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk says his team needs to kick on again after it beat West Ham United to secure a first Premier League victory in a month. The travelling fans in the away end made their feelings clear on Arne Slot, chanting his name loudly throughout the contest, which was won by goals from Alexander Isak and Cody Gakpo, and the Reds skipper is keen to build on an improved performance. "Very important," Van Dijk told reporters at the London Stadium when quizzed on the supporters backing the team and the manager. "I don't think that's any issue at a club like Liverpool, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. A big credit to all of them, and keep supporting us, that's the only thing I can say about it. It's obviously down to us on the pitch to try and get the results that we want, so that's what we try to do. I think there's no point for us to look at any table. We didn't do it last year and we shouldn't do it now either. The only thing we should look at is trying to find consistency in the way we play, defend and attack. Yeah, today was a good win, and now we move on." Isak scored his first Premier League goal for Liverpool, while Joe Gomez put in a strong performance at right back when making his first league start since this fixture last season. "Yeah, I think Gomez did outstandingly," Van Dijk said. "Obviously it's great to see him back and it's great to see Flo Wirtz back as well. So yeah, kick on, keep going. On to the next one." Wirtz was a livewire, especially in the first half, and he created several chances for his teammates once again. The German is still finding his feet after a big money transfer, but Van Dijk was impressed. "I think he played very well against Frankfurt as well," he said. "It's actually normal, it takes a bit of time. I think today he showed his quality. With and without the ball, I'm pleased for him and pleased for all of us. It's only one game, so we have to keep going, getting results and keep going. Next up for Liverpool is the visit of high-flying Sunderland, which came from 2 goals down to beat Bournemouth this weekend. After the Black Cats come to Anfield, the Reds then travel to Leeds United. I don't think there was extra determination needed in the situation that we were in, Van Dijk said. Criticism is part of the game, so that's what the guys who give criticism get paid for. We just have to deal with what we can control, and that's playing football on the pitch. We won today, that's about it. Now we focus on Wednesday, on what will be a very hard, tough game that we will be ready for, but we have to be ready for it. Inspirational LFC Foundation participant and Reds fan Reagan recently received an incredible surprise with a special visit from Alison Becker. The 23-year-old has been a much-loved attendee to sessions laid on by the club's official charity for more than a decade, as well as a besotted Liverpool supporter since childhood. Another passion for Reagan, who was born with Down syndrome, is art and design, and she regularly deploys her sewing skills for Reds-themed creations that raise money for charity. As part of 2 years of work towards earning a GCSE in textiles, she established her own studio in Birkenhead that has now become an open space for anyone with special educational needs or experiencing social isolation. With the support of her mum, Vicky, and teacher Rachel, she is giving back to the community in a powerful way, including popular Halloween and Christmas events and a weekly mindfulness and chat group. And it was there at her Silly Goose Foundation base that Reagan was stunned to welcome a new visitor last month, Liverpool goalkeeper Alison. I would describe Reagan as a dynamic, independent, gorgeous young lady. Clever, witty, kind. Very, very kind. Funny, quick sense of humor, said Vicky. She is not what people expect when they are introduced to her or I'm introduced to somebody and I mention that my eldest has Down syndrome and then they meet her. People have a preconceived idea sometimes of what Down syndrome is. If you've met one person with Down syndrome, you've met one person with Down syndrome. They are as different to each other as any of us are. And I think people are nicely surprised when they meet her and see who she is. It doesn't define her. As people get to know her, they realize it's the least interesting thing about her. There's so much more to her than just this extra chromosome she's got. Once Reagan's shock at having the Reds number 1 knocking on her door had subsided, they settled in for a conversation about life, Liverpool and plenty more. And Alison put his talented hands to a very different use with a sewing lesson, contributing to Reagan's latest creations. His visit formed part of LFC's activities to mark the United Nations 2025 International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which falls on December 3rd. The Brazilian extended an invite of his own, with Reagan to be a guest at Anfield when Liverpool hosts Sunderland in the Premier League on that same date, which is also, fittingly, Reagan's birthday. Vicky continued. She's come a really long way from that tiny little baby that I held in my arms all those years ago. If somebody had said to me then when I was sat in the hospital, in a room at the end of a corridor on my own, listen, in 20-something years, this is going to be her life, I'd have snatched somebody's hand off for that. She's an incredible young woman and I would like to think that if people see her on Instagram and what she's doing, that if there's another mum sitting in a hospital room and she's feeling a bit lost and doesn't know where to go, that actually it's not the end of the world, that actually it's a pretty good life this, you know. It's not too shabby being Reagan. We said it's not a life sentence, it's a life enhancement. Indeed, were it not for Reagan's independent streak, it might have been a footballer from a neighboring team coming to see her at the Environmental Innovation Center instead. Her mum is a fierce Everton fan and, by her own admission, tried her best to pass on the allegiance to the Toffees. But the writing was on the wall when Reagan started refusing to wear blue shirts, and the transformation was completed with a delivery from the postman one day.